Today I'm going to show you how to cut felt using the Silhouette Cameo. So first thing that you're going to need over here is Wonder Under. It's also called, it's Pellin number 805. You can get it in the craft store section next to all of the iron and interfacing. So what you need to do is cut that to size. Let me back up. So I cut mine 12 by 12 because I want to do a whole sheet. You can cut yours smaller, of course, if you need to. And then get your felt, which I also cut about 12 by 12. You want it to be a little bit bigger than your felt because you don't want to, when you iron this on, you don't want it to get on your ironing board because it will make a big mess. So you can use acrylic felt. I like to use a wool felt blend. You can see more about that on my blog. There should be a link to it. But this is just a wool blend, and I like it because it cuts nicer. If you try to cut with the acrylic felt, you lose some of the detail around the edges, and also you have to be more careful because that stuff's made out of plastic bottles and you don't want to iron it too long because it will start to melt. So first thing you're going to do after that, you want to iron out all these wrinkles and then iron the Wonder Under. You want the scratchy side down because that's the webbing. You want to put that down onto the felt, and then you're going to follow the instructions. They come with the Wonder Under, and you're going to iron it down. You press down for about 5 to 8 seconds with a dry hot iron and you want to make sure you overlap and get all over the whole thing. So I'm going to do that first. Okay, now that you've got that all ironed down, you want to, there's a paper backing on here, so you want to just lift that up and peel that off, and then there's the paper backing. You can throw that away, and then what's left is this just the webbing on here, and it's just a clear webbing. So take your felt, the Wonder Underside down, and line it up on your mat. Just make sure you smooth it all down, that there's no bubbles, and then we'll get ready to cut. I'm just going to be cutting out a bunch of flowers that I use to make birthday crowns. So you can see that by clicking the links on my blog. So as you can see right here, I've got just a custom media, and I've got the speed set on 3, the thickness set on 33, and then blade depth on 10. And then also you want to make sure that you do a double cut to make sure that it really gets through that felt. So now you're going to come over to your machine, and then I use my fabric blade. I haven't had any problem with it dulling any extra or anything from cutting the felt with the Wonder Under on it. So, and I've been doing it for a while, so it works great. You want to put your blade depth on a 10 and load it up, and then load our cutting mat. So once you have your mat loaded, you can go ahead and start cutting out your shapes, and it's going to go around each one twice because we set it up to do a double cut. So we'll just let that go. Okay, so now it's all done cutting. I got a little bit messed up on the sides here. I got my design a little bit too close to the edge, and I didn't do a great job cutting. But now for the moment of truth to see if it cut through. And as you can see, so there's some parts, look at that cut great. So that came out perfect. Some, like this one, especially like if you're close to the edge, you will need a little bit of extra clipping to do around the edge. But for the most part, if you're lucky, they should all come out nice and precisely cut. You can't cut very really detailed designs, but I also cut numbers for the birthday crowns that I make, and they come out really nicely. I'll go get a couple of those to show you after this. As you can see, some of them are still stuck in there. Sometimes I'll get a whole sheet where they're just kind of stuck in. But you just grab some scissors and stick them in there, and you just have to do a little bit of extra snipping of that wonder under on the bottom, because sometimes it doesn't quite cut through there. So you just cut that out to release it. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but and it still saves you a ton of time because the marks are already in there. Hopefully you can see. I know the lighting's not great in here, but all those came out great. So I just want to show you real quickly. So my cutting mat is a little bit more messed up just because of the high blade setting that I'm using. You can see all these scratch marks in it and things from the blade when I cut out all these felt things. So I actually have a separate mat that I use just for this because it gets a little bit less sticky, especially with those felt fibers on there. You can wash it a little bit. Some of the Wonder Under kind of gets on there too, but it washes off pretty well, and the Wonder Under actually helps it to stick better on the mat. So if you use your mat specifically for felt, then it's going to last you longer than if, like this mat I wouldn't be able to use to cut paper or vinyl on now because it's not sticky enough, but it's perfectly sticky enough for the felt. So just keep that in mind. It will ruin your mat a little bit more than normal, but definitely worth it because it saves me a ton of time if I have to buy another mat or re-sticky it or whatever. This is definitely worth it. So these are all numbers that I have cut using my Cameo, and you can see they all came out really detailed without any problem, and you can see like even the middle of that number 4 turned out great. Sometimes like this one there'll be a little bit extra left in there. You can just peel that out. But look at all this time that has saved me from having to cut all of these out, and they come out so much more precisely than I could have done by hand. And then just, I know a lot of people, you see this and you want to make a felt board or something out of felt. The only problem with that, the Wonder Under is still on the back of it. It's not removable. You're not going to be able to get it off, and so that's going to affect how it sticks onto other pieces of felt. It might stick a little bit, but it's not going to be like if you just had regular felt without the Wonder Under on the back. You might be able to like turn it over and stick it that way, but then you still have this this texture of the Wonder Under on the other side. I use it mostly for when I'm going to applique things onto other things. So these are the numbers that I make for my birthday crowns. I don't iron them on. You can iron it if you want to, but I like the dimension that it gives when it's not ironed on. So I just stick it on there and hand stitch it on, and then that way you're not seeing the Wonder Under. It's on this side, but then I just take another flower and stick it on the back and sew that together, and that's how you get around the Wonder Under being on the other side. So for things that you're going to applique, this is perfect, especially if you're going to be cutting out small little details like this. So hopefully that was helpful to someone. I bought my Cameo just specifically for this reason, to cut out felt, not knowing if it would or not because there wasn't a lot of information available, and I know the company says that it can't cut felt. So just, this is proof to you that yes, it does cut felt, and I'm so glad that I bought it to cut felt because it saves me a ton of time. So if you like this video, please check out my blog. It's www.cutesycrafts.com, CUTESYCRAFTS.com, and you can subscribe. You can check out my Etsy shop, like me on Facebook. I'm on Pinterest all the time. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful to somebody. Thanks for watching.